Assalamualaikum and good morning. Today we are excited to present our data science project titled Malaysia Poverty, a collaborative effort by Group 3. In this project, we delve into the intricate layers of poverty in Malaysia, leveraging data science techniques to gain insight that can contribute to a deeper understanding of the challenges faced by vulnerable populations. Our group consists of four members: Ang Wai Kit, Lu Wei Che, Nur Syazwani binti Suhaimi, and myself, Nur Amira Syafiqah binti Rosli. This analysis' main goal is to develop a sophisticated understanding of Malaysia's poverty dynamics by concentrating on important issues like regional differences, the relationship between education and employment, the effect of declining agriculture, and the careful balancing act between development and education. So there are three objectives of this analysis, which is: first, uncovering regional disparities; second, exploring the education and employment interconnection; and third, find out cause and potential solution for poverty.
Alright, now we move to the output section. So before we gain the real data and outcome, the data set that we obtain need to be clean. So let's see how it's done. Alright, so for this project, we get our data from the time series data, and before importing the data into the Power BI, we need to do a data cleaning because there is unnecessary features such as merging columns, labels, and so on, which Power BI can recognize and analyze the data accurately. So as you can see, this is the results of Excel file from the data cleaning, and you can see the data is much more simpler, no merging columns, no labels, just the data itself. So with this data, we can import the data set into the Power BI, and the Power BI will analyze the data accurately. So next, let's move to the output of data analysis.
So right now I'll be explaining about what's been happening about Malaysians' poverty. As you can see, Malaysians' poverty rate has been steadily dropping. However, it raised a little bit during COVID, which is normal and expected. So next, we have used the 2019 data to rank the Malaysian poverty rates by state. In Sabah, Kelantan, and Sarawak, these three states have the highest poverty rate. Meanwhile, Johor, Pulau Pinang, and Selangor has the lowest poverty rate, excluding wilayah persekutuans. The first thing to do is to link education with poverty, right? And it's true because in Sabah, a lot of people still rely on the secondary education. Meanwhile, primary and no formal education is still existent in the Sabah environment. However, in Selangor, we don't really see a lot of primary and no education people already. Most of the people over here have secondary or tertiary education in Selangor. Next, we also want to link the major industry for these poverty stricken states. In Sabah, Kelantan, and Sarawak, which are the states with the highest poverty rate, a lot of them rely on agriculture, except for Kelantan, which has shifted mostly to wholesale recently. Meanwhile, Selangor, Johor, and Penang, which are the least poverty stricken areas, rely on wholesale and retail trade or manufacturing industries. So the top three poverty states have a significant agricultural industry. Meanwhile, the bottom three poverty stricken states do not have a significant reliance on agricultural industries. So it is shown that if you rely more on agriculture, it might be a factor in leading to poverty. And you might think, why is it that states that rely on agriculture have a lot of poverty? Well, the reason is because the price of kelapa sawit and rubber increased to 2011, but it decreased after that. Aside from that, the GDP drop of the agriculture may also show that the agriculture industry earns less than other industries already. And this factored in by inflation caused all these states that rely on agriculture to suffer the most. So next, we would like to look at the GDP and developmental level for each area depending on their poverty state. So as you can see at the bottom right, Sarawak has a high GDP and development. However, if you notice that it's the third most poverty-stricken state. So not only is development important, but it's also reliant on education. So as you can see on the top left, Sarawak is mostly reliant on second level education. So it is concluded that for a state to be less poverty stricken, not only does the development has to be good, the level of education has to be good also, so that there is qualified people to take high paying jobs. Next, we can also predict the Malaysian poverty rate using a regression graph. And you can see that the estimated poverty rate for Malaysia is expected to go down as usual. Of course, for every state, the expected poverty rate is also going down. However, for Sabah specifically, it is very concerning because even though it goes down, it doesn't go down by a lot. In fact, it might stay at 8 to 9% at 2030. So a lot of action has to be taken for Sabah specifically. Because even for Kelantan and Sarawak, it is quite promising to see the poverty rates going down a lot. And of course, for Selangor, Johor, and Pulau Pinang, that is not a big concern as the poverty rate is already low. So in 2030, the poverty rate will be even lower. So there's a number of conclusions that we can make. Firstly, education and poverty are related. This is because if a person has a higher education, then they can earn more. Next, states that rely heavily on agriculture will suffer greatly from poverty because agriculture is becoming less significant in Malaysia's GDP. Additionally, development and education has to be done at the same time. This is because development leads to higher paying jobs and education provides the people with the knowledge to attend to these higher paying jobs. So if we have high education but no development, then there is no opportunity for people anyways. And if you have high development but no education, then is nobody skilled enough to fill up this job. So these are the conclusions as to why Malaysian is being struck by poverty, especially in states like Sabah. So thank you very much for listening to our presentation, and I hope that our presentation has provided very valuable insights for the Malaysians' poverty situation. Thank you.